Hello, my name is Yue Rose, the mother of horrors, and we are here on another date night. Tonight is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. I'm here with, of course,
Yuki Mizuki.
they took me out,
Mm-hmm.
and they chose a pizza place of all things. So this is what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, we watched Freddy's.
And before we go into like the movie and the mumbo jumbo, we we haven't played the games because we're sensitive to jump scares, especially me. I do not like jump scares. Blood and gore is okay. But we watched Markiplier
Yeah,
go through this, so thank you, Markiplier, for being the king of FNaF and going through all these games. And thank you, Matt Pat, as well, for doing the lore for these games. I know
yeah.
that Matt Pat is unfortunately quitting this year, but it's very understandable, and we wish the best for him.
Finds joy in what he does next.
So we watched the movie.
Yes, we we watched the movie.
What's your thoughts first? Because I got mine locked in.
I have a few thoughts about it. One, cool scenes in it. A lot
hmm
of callbacks to the first game, and then we got like some really weird ones like the cupcake.
I don't know. I can understand the cupcake. Like I can justify for the cupcake a little bit.
Okay, so you can
Okay,
justify the
go.
cupcake all you want,
I
but
will.
it wasn't an animatronic in the beginning.
No, but the cupcake was there with Chica and artistic liberties. They happen. Of course, there are a lot of positive things about this movie, and we enjoyed it. Overall, we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. There's going to be differences because it's a movie versus a series of games. Like, you're not going to get all the games
And
lore in
books.
one. And books. I forgot about the books. You're completely right. You're not going to get everything in one movie. It is impossible. That's why when they say that the books are better than the movie, that's kind of fucking obvious because you're never going to get every little detail
Yeah.
in the movie.
I think the game was better than the books, which was better than the movies. The movie.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to get everything in it, and that's, stands my point.
Scott
But
Coffin made a really good product, though.
he did. But the thing is that he also, which shout out to Scotty for being heavily involved in this because we probably would not be watching this or reviewing it otherwise. I mean, it looked good all its own. Let's be fair. Everything was good. A lot of things were practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get CGI, or if there wasn't much of it because I remember showing you like different stills of the animatronics. I'm like, they're going full bono on this. They are actually making animatronics and doing this shit. And I was so fucking happy because one of my biggest gripes, especially with horror movies right now, they rely too heavily on CGI and not enough on practical. And call me an old fogey. You can call Yuki here an old fogey, a purist, whatever. But we grew up at a time where there wasn't any CGI and you had to do practical effects. And let me tell you what, if you watch an older movie versus a newer one, you're gonna appreciate the effects in the older movie much more because it is all practical. It is all right there.
Yes. Like Evil Dead.
Oh god, Tom Savini is fucking amazing. It's about FNaF.
And Scott
And
Coffin.
right, and I like that he was heavily involved.
I do too.
TLDR.
I also like that Matt Pat was in it.
His cameo was good.
If they do a second one, I would like it to open up with Markiplier being the phone guy.
And you know what? I would be open to that. That'd be great. This is all hearsay. It didn't happen in the movie. Kind of wish it did. That Markiplier was the phone guy in the movie.
Yeah.
He does a thing, it's just a theory.
So now getting into the nitty gritty of the movie.
Oh dear.
It's kind of messy. We got torn apart. We don't know what happened to
Uh,
the father or the mom right off the bat.
so before we go any further, I do want to say that the FNaF movie is is its own separate thing from the FNaF books and games. Like they directed this movie to be its own separate thing, which is fine. It's completely fine. So because of that, we're going to judge it as such as a movie itself. Because it's kind of, as I said before, it's impossible to put all this lore and all this shit in one movie when there's just no room. And there are two other movies confirmed, so I'm kind of interested to see where they go with this premise. But you are right. And that's one thing that I don't hate is the family like dynamics. Because the one thing in modern horror that we all kind of grown about are characters that we don't care about, right? And at least showing a little bit more time with the characters shows, this is why I should care about this character because X, Y, and Z. And the main actor, I don't hate him. Like I used to watch Zathura.
Yeah, it was a thorough.
I think that was his debut.
Bridge to Terabithia was another one he was in.
Yep. My biggest nitpick of, and this is in no way saying that FNAF is a bad movie. It's good in some ways. It's passable. You know, it's just enough for you to get your foot in the door with if you want to.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to say baby horror.
I'm a big fan of Matthew Illard.
Yes, Matthew Illard is in this movie. I've seen his earlier work, you know, a little thing called Scream. And I am a big fan of Matthew Illard. He is such a fucking joy. Like he really is. I have never heard anybody say a terrible thing about him ever. And I know you liked him in Scream, but you also liked him in Scooby Doo. He was an amazing Shaggy.
He was. I liked him in 13 Ghosts.
Oh, 13 Ghosts. I got my gripe with that, but still, Matthew Illard. That's the best part of the movie. Next part. I guess the horror of it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is a horror channel. We gotta talk about something that's kind of spooky or a little gory. So, what do you think about the horror?
The horror in this and the gore was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Though I wish that it would have shown more instead of tell.
Yeah, that's a big thing about horror now is that it tells too much. And honestly, like a lot of horror fans hate that, me included.
One of the better scenes that shows more than it tells was the Bonnie kill.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like you don't get like you see the silhouette of him in the closet.
Right. Oh, don't you mean Foxy because he? Oh no, Bonnie was a slow unaliver. Foxy was like right fucking there.
The fucking cupcake.
I get you.
It was a cool idea to put in there, but it wasn't one of the original animatronics. I wish that we would have gotten Golden Freddy.
Okay, so my biggest gripe about it all is it's PG-13, which I understand why for this particular movie because there are so many younger audience that love FNAF, but they are horror fans in the making, as I would like to say. But it's double-edged sword because the unaliving and everything should have been more gory than what it was. And I was just I'm going to go on a small tangent, okay? And I'm sure you're going to agree because we talked about this a lot. Every time a new fucking PG-13 movie comes out, we talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
There are no horror movies that are just rated R anymore. And I'm not talking about specifically FNaF because FNaF being PG-13, I can understand. I can bend. But there's been so many in recent years that are not rated R. That's just terrible. Because rated R, you can get away with so much more. It's just they care about butts and seats, and that annoys me as a horror fan because, and I don't want to sound like I'm a typical old person, but when you look at the horror movies of the 80s, the ones that were rated R, they didn't care much about putting butts and seats because they knew they already had those butts and seats. So they went above and beyond and gave us, so practical effects, fucking banger. Love it, 10 out of 10. The unaliving could have gone a little harder. Like, I've seen some PG-13 movies that go a little harder than FNaF. They could have went a little harder. They could have, like, pushed that envelope. Shoved that envelope in its slot a little bit more.
The one gripe that I have is...
Cupcake?
No. The buddy scene where we know that the fucking animatronics are bad guys, but they're acting like we get a whole freaking montage scene of them building a fucking fort.
It's kind of also a gripe of mine too, because let me tell you what, I don't mind having villains as, well, this person's actually kind of good, actually. I don't mind that. Which, to the animatronics credit, they're not 100% evil, but they've also done unaliving, so it's kind of jarring to see like a scene of
like a 180.
them, yeah, like them unaliving people that come to the pizzeria and then wanting to build a fort with another child that wants to shove them into a puppet.
To be honest, I didn't really care for the sister too much.
It's, I understand why they had Abby. Like, I understand why they.
But
why
it took away from the agency of the main character trying to find the brother.
Right, and not just that, but we were also promised that FNaF was going to be a much harder horror film than what it came out to be.
Than what we got.
So we kind of got gypped a little bit, to be honest. So, TLDR, if you are a budding horror fan, this is perfect. Minimal amount of gore, just,
It's just something
it changed the story enough.
To cut your teeth on.
Yeah.
It's something to cut your teeth on.
And again, I do love that Scott was part of this and actually, made notes, directed, etc. Maybe he wasn't the primary director, but he had more influence over this.
I hope that if we get a second one, they don't bring Abby back.
They go a little harder.
And they go harder.
But they did bring Vanessa into it. So I wonder, and this might be just my own bias because, I dabble into the 80s threads a little bit, but if they had second one and the animatronics were all their glam rock versions.
Either glam rock or toy.
I like glam rock more.
Because if they did toy...
Design-wise, I love glam rock more.
If we did the toy versions, we can basically have it be that the restaurant, the secondary restaurant, is over top of sister location.
Yeah, and then you'd have like the ballerina, you'd have baby, and
down below.
Which then I feel like they needed to have a rated R. This one I believe they kind of had baby. No. There was another animatronic that was in the basement that you're talking about.
Yeah, but that wasn't baby.
That wasn't baby. It was like something else. It was like
Circus Baby's Fun Time.
Yeah.
It's basically a prototype restaurant that
never was.
Yeah, that never was.
Yeah, I could say that. Spoilers?
Spoilers.
So spoilers. Where are we going with this?
All right, so we got a whole bunch of freaking dream sequences that never actually went anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just a way so that they can talk to the that you can talk to the animatronics without having to talk with the animatronics.
That is true, and yeah, that was kind
It
of
kind of
jarring.
ruined it for me.
Yeah, that was kind of jarring, wasn't it? Like it took out the horror aspect. It's, and I understand because what little horror aspect we loved about this movie. I mean, we absolutely loved. Don't get us wrong, but we don't want to have to decipher this dream sequence when there wasn't anything to decipher to begin with.
And to be honest, the dream sequence, the saddest part about it is the fact that because of how we got Abby, no complaint to the fucking actress, but it kind of derailed him trying to figure out and find his brother.
Right, and then the actress that played Abby, did her best. I will say that because child acting is fucking hard, and she's just kind of going off of what notes her higher ups are saying. So I can understand that.
The aunt.
Oh god, yes, the aunt. Insufferable. Her lawyer was the only thing that was sufferable in those scenes, by the way.
It was.
But this is when we also say that not enough gore. Because
And the reveal that the fucking babysitter was in on it the whole time was kind of
convoluted.
Yeah.
Same.
And just a way for them to go into the Freddy Fazbear's place just to get myrtleized.
Yeah. And my biggest thing about spoilers was that we get to meet Vanessa.
Vanny.
And that wasn't terrible, but I feel like they were trying to introduce her too quickly.
Agreed. My thing is, all right, comparatively to the game or to the books and the games, Vanessa or Vanny would have came later on.
She would have because
she's not actually connected in any way to the main family.
Yeah,
unless she is, but we'll get to that.
Again, we're saying this as people that also love the games, and we really wanted this movie to be fucking amazing. We really did. And it's fine. It's anything to take away from this review. It was fine. It's fine as is, but there are things that could have made it better, and that's all we're trying to explain.
Mm-hmm. We could have had more purple guy stuff in there.
Who came out to be the main villain?
Matthew Illard. He
I'm sorry, he plays a fantastic villain.
He did say the line.
He said the line.
Though how would he know that he would come back? He's like, I always come back.
Okay, I got my big brain on, okay?
Did he die already once?
No. I was an Easter egg to Scream.
I'm sad that because he forced the helmet on.
Yeah.
I'm sad that the suit didn't malfunction then.
Right, it malfunctioned a little bit later.
Basically him combating, because that's not what the suit was made to do. It was not made to physically hurt, do physical combat.
No, you're right.
Combat. It is a lock. It is a spring lock mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Which we in the original games, we learned that the spring lock suits are very, very deadly.
Right.
There's a reason why they discontinued them. Especially later on when we learned that, basically if it
ever spring locks like that, don't you have to turn a bunch of knobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it's a faulty suit.
Which this was.
Yeah. And I'm also sad, like, yeah, if they did the actual spirits,
Mm-hmm.
we would have gotten CGI, which would have been fucking horrible.
Yeah, that's one thing I could say. Even though we found that the dream sequences were very jarring, they didn't do the whole CGI dream spirits, like whooshing around, going,
The
"He
ghosts.
killed us! Stop him!
Like they wouldn't even have to like actually show
Yeah.
them.
It's this guy!"
They could have had like kids running around, like the spirits of the kids. Like
running around the fucking pizzeria, and you gotta figure out what's real and what's fake.
yeah, basically like he turns down a fucking corner and finds like a little drawing that they did. Like
Mhm.
the drawings could have shown
Ooh.
what happened.
But I also understand that that could be a little much as well, because you're trying to focus in on the movie, you're not focusing on the things that are in the background. At least, like as far as drawings or whatever. An average moviegoer is going to focus on the characters.
One thing I'm glad they didn't take from the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they did not use the time machine ball pit.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens in that book
Uh-huh.
is the kid is able to go back to a like previous time when FNaF was like still open.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bacteria in them ball pits, though.
Oh,
I'm gonna say this right now for people that work in fast food that have like play areas. I don't envy y'all for having to clean that. That is so fucking disgusting. You all should get paid like $50 an hour just to have to deal with that. That's gross.
Would you kiss me in the ball pit at Five Nights at Freddy's?
I have to see their cleanliness first, because wasn't that a thing in like wasn't that the early 2000s where this woman actually went around different McDonald's or different Burger Kings, whatever it was, went to their play area, took bacteria from each area, and they came out with like all these like different species of bacteria that grow just specifically in that place because they don't clean it properly.
Yeah.
No.
Balloon Boy.
That was the dumbest jump scare, but it was so funny. It's okay. You gotta understand, okay? We are simple folk, okay? We are amused by very little, okay? So when you have that bastard Balloon Boy sitting up in that locker, and it is an homage to the game where Balloon Boy
The second game where Balloon Boy does pop up periodically out of fucking nowhere and just scare the pants off you. It was like, what, 2 or 3? It was 3. 3 Balloon Boy scares, and he just like sits there, and you open up like the locker, and there he is. It's funny, it's dumb. The last one was funny.
Yeah, the last one he was actually in, and I forgot
the taxi.
I forgot which, and he's a famous YouTuber.
Yeah.
And I feel really shitty for not knowing his name. But he was a cameo in this as well. And Balloon Boy was like sitting right next to him, and he just looked over and went, ah! And there he was. Like I said, the whole Balloon Boy thing was really dumb. But it was just a funny dumb, and I welcome funny dumb.
I love funny dumb as well.
Funny dumb is great in horror movies. I'm sorry.
What I think should have happened instead of the cupcake, we got Balloon Boy.
Something else that's more. And he didn't. We just get little Balloon Boy scares in the locker room, and I guess that's
it.
But it was probably more entertaining than Cupcake. We'll say it was funny. It's funny dumb.
Okay, so another good thing that I liked about the movie is the ending music.
You have more pull over this music than I do because I don't listen to this.
The Living Tombstones, they did a whole bunch of FNaF stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome.
I remember you were playing the Five Nights at Freddy's song that was at the end.
Yeah.
And that was also a very nice touch, I think, because it shows that, how big of a community FNAF really is online.
I mean, it's such a big community. They have people that make music about it. If they okay, so if they ever do the Pizzaplex thing, they're going to have to do like virtual reality.
They're gonna have to do virtual reality, but they're also gonna have to do those little robots that run up to you and be like, take a map, take a program.
The map.
But then you'd have to have Roxanne Wolf and Monty Gator.
Yeah.
Which
I want to see Marionette and also the toy versions of the characters. Plus we get to see the damaged versions and also Mangle.
I was gonna say, you know what version I would like to see? The Nightmare versions.
Yeah, but we'd have to do like a prequel for that.
Yeah.
Along with like if they actually did a really good job with that, I think what would be really cool. Sister location with the nightmares.
Oh yeah. Well, seeing as how big of a success the first FNAF was, and I'm sure the second FNAF is going to be just as much, if not more, success. So, anything else?
So my rating overall, I'd say it's 4.5 out of 5.
I think that's fair.
We did get to see the bite of 87.
We saw the bite of 87. And what a bite it was. So, anyway, thank you guys for showing up and see you next date night. Bye.
Bye.